Hello, everyone, and welcome. Episode 6 of the Chasing Goals podcast. Bit of a disaster with our audio and our video today. We had the start of the podcast kind of get chopped off. I was involved, or I was in charge of running today's session, so it was an absolute disaster. But we pick up Mauro, or Moro, I think that's how you pronounce it, talking about how it was actually quite interesting how he got into his CrossFit journey and with his photography and that sort of thing. He actually got hit by a car and really stuffed up one of his shoulders. So he talks about how he signed up, or the guy that hit him was part of a CrossFit box, and that from there is where he kind of fell into the photography of the CrossFit and the CrossFit Games and that sort of thing. So we'll pick it up now. We'll head there tomorrow, talking about his journey into his photography career.
So he was like, "Oh, come on!" But I started like working out, but I couldn't move this arm, this right arm. So I keep working out, but I started losing weight. So I got I started feeling better because I think that I am one of these athletes that I'm a frustrated athlete. Because I always wanted to be an athlete, like since I was a kid.
Yep.
But I was fat. I grew up as a fat kid, but I couldn't make too many things, and because we had the money to work out, or my parents had the chances to take me to a place to work out. I was fat, and we had the right amount of money to pay for this kind of stuff. So I grew up as a frustrated athlete. So when I discovered CrossFit, I felt like this was made for me, right? Because I was like, this is a place where you can work out. You have your own pace. You don't have to face off against others. You have your own pace, right?
Yeah.
And I was like feeling amazing because I started losing weight. And after all this happened, I felt part of something. It's hard, but when you go to a CrossFit gym or to a CrossFit box, you feel like you're in a family. You're in a place where you belong, right?
For sure. That's one thing about CrossFit that seems to be the kind of you can feel it through, like if you're watching like the games, or you kind of looking at different things on YouTube, just like the community and the family vibes that the CrossFit the CrossFit community, I guess, share. Like, I feel like everyone's kind of welcome to go and do what they want to do within that CrossFit scene.
Yeah. So it was for me like extremely shocking. I was shocked because most of them were like, "Hey, supporting you," and they were telling me, "Hey, you can do it. You can do it." And I was like, "Well, I'm feeling great, But after all this happened, I was like, I'm a photographer already, but I don't know if it's okay if I start taking these kind of pictures.
Yeah.
Because I only went with the guys from the CrossFit from the box when I was working on.
Yep.
And I was going with him, and I was started shooting. I started shooting for them. And like, "Hey, this is a picture of you. Want to take a look at it?" And then they were like, "Oh, it looks cool." But it was just for fun, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it was just for fun. But after I needed some extra money, I was talking with somebody, and I was like, "Oh, can I take pictures for you? I just need money." So these guys were supporting, like, come to the
for
box
sure,
and take some pictures. And well, that was my first paid job in CrossFit, right? So these guys were like, "Oh, these pictures were amazing," but I had no idea about the movements because I was pretty new, right? I was totally
like a beginner type.
Brand new in this
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had no idea about it, but I did what I knew, what I had to do with my camera, but that was all that I knew about taking pictures of sport, right?
Yeah.
But I always wanted to be a sport photographer. Like, that was my dream, There was something that I always Like I always wanted. I've been shooting for several magazines here in Mexico, and I've been shooting for different brands, but most of them were like for food, for furniture, for
Yeah.
brands, clothing brands like several brands with models and stuff, but
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
nothing related to sports. So when I discovered this, it totally changed my life.
Yeah, that's awesome. Is it? I was actually just we'll touch on a few things that you said, but is it obviously harder with the models and stuff? They're obviously still when they're, I guess, taking the shots. Is it harder to capture real like someone in a movement? Is it harder to capture a good photo whilst they're moving?
Yeah, it's on first, it's hard to get a nice face. That's the
Yeah,
hardest part,
I can imagine. Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
while you're working out, you don't care about what
But
face you're
looking like.
doing, right? If you
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
terrible gestures, right? So this is the hardest part, because most of the athletes, like, they don't care. They are always thinking about how they look, right? Because
Yeah,
that's why you work out, to look fit, to look thin, to
yeah,
look
yeah.
huge, right? But most of them are extremely weary about their faces, right? So
Okay.
usually they don't pay you if they have a bad face,
Face.
right?
Yeah,
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 so
yeah.
this is something that I always focus on, a good face. And when I shoot somebody doing a movement, I pay attention first on their
The
face
face.
instead
Okay.
of something else, right? Yeah.
Well, that's a good insight. You're giving out your best secrets.
Yeah, yeah.
No, and I guess that's we'll get to the CrossFit Games and I guess the experience that was, but maybe like after how was the rehab on the shoulder? Like, what kind of was the bloke that kind of was he giving you good like rehab advice and is your shoulder fine now? Is that all kind of come good?
Yeah, this is very impressive, because if you go to a CrossFit box, most of the CrossFit coaches guide you through a good movement, right?
Yeah,
Because if you have some restrictions, or if you have something that doesn't allow you to do something specific, they give you a hand to, well, for you to move right, or to change the movement to something that you can do, right?
yeah.
So I spent like probably 8 or 9 months. Yeah, 8 or 9 months without moving my right arm. I'm left-handed,
Yeah,
so
okay, yeah.
that's not a bad thing. But I couldn't even lift the bar. I was doing everything with my with my left
The
arm.
left. Yeah, okay,
But
yeah.
I had to change certain movements to start moving this. But it changed my life. It was super good.
Yeah, that's a crazy story. Like it's one of the most crazy stories I've heard. That's getting hit by a car while you're riding and then end up photographing at the CrossFit Games. But how was that? So obviously you've started into the CrossFit. You're working on your I guess the local boxes. From there, how did it kind of progress forward onto that next level?
Well, for Mexicans, it's very hard. Even though we're very close to the States, it's very hard to go and to travel to another country, because it's kind of expensive, right? Because our currency is not that good. But I always wanted to travel around, because
Yeah.
I was raised in the States. That's why I speak a little English, right?
Yeah, okay. I
uh,
thought you had a little bit of an American accent, or is that not there?
Yeah. Well, the thing is that I speak English, and most of my friends cannot speak English, and most of the Mexicans can understand it, but they can't express themselves, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So if you really want to work outside of your country, you have to focus first on your language, because it doesn't matter if you work extremely good, but if you can't communicate, that's the first barrier that you have to face off, right?
Yeah,
And that's why that helped me to fulfill most of the things that I have done through this day, right?
yeah, for sure.
And I wanted, like, when I started showing my pictures to my friends, they were like, "Hey, you should go to a CrossFit camp. You should start doing something extra, and you should focus something different because your work is good. And I was like, oh, I don't know what you mean. I just like to take pictures, but I had no idea about what a CrossFit Games were, you know?
Yeah.
Most of my friends were like totally excited about that. They were excited about the winners, the champions, the brands, you know, but I had no idea about it. And I'm this happened in 2019, right? It
Okay.
was 3 years ago. So after on 2020, everything stopped, you know, because of
Yeah.
the pandemic and everything, right?
Yeah.
And in 2020, I applied as a photographer for the CrossFit Games, right? And
Okay.
I was the first Mexican, uh, like traveling from Mexico to the
To-
States,
Yeah.
going to the CrossFit Games. So the people went, they gone crazy, right? They were like, I can't believe it. You're probably the first Mexican there. Show us the place. Tell us about your experience. Tell us about everything. Because
Yeah.
even though we're that close, people never think about. They never think big. You know, you
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
think
For
big.
sure. Yeah.
And I was always like, I want to go. This is my chance to reach my goals. You know,
Yeah. For sure.
when I read the name of this, and was like, my goal was different. You know, because I told you this was not a fitness goal. This was like a life goal. You know,
Yeah. For
and
sure.
that was the first thing that I was like, I want to be there. If this is the biggest event, I want to be there.
Yeah. And did you know about? So when did you kind of know about? Obviously, you're in the CrossFit. You started it early. Did you know about the CrossFit Games straight away, or was it later on when you were like, oh, there's like this is going to be this could be something I could really sink my teeth into in the photography like scene?
Yeah, you know, it was very helpful because I had no idea about what CrossFit was. I had nothing.
Yeah.
My mind was white. You know, it was
Yeah.
empty
Yeah.
about the CrossFit athletes. It was empty about brands, all
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
it.
For
So,
sure. Yeah.
you know, and just right after that, it was like boom. It totally changed my mind. It totally changed my the way I look at everything. Right,
Yeah.
and I was like, whew, it was mind blowing.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I guess, and that's the thing. Like, obviously, this is it's a fitness, but it's also this podcast about business, life, goals in general, trying to better yourself in anything you do. So that would have been awesome. So maybe let's speak about maybe that first experience at the CrossFit Games. Was it 2020? Did you say 2019? Was it?
No, 2021. It was last year.
Oh,
It
last
was
year.
last year.
Okay. So
Yeah.
was that at the house, the ranch? Is that what they call it?
No, no, no. 2020 was on the ranch
Oh,
in Gulf,
2020 was yeah,
and 2021 was back in Madison. And
yeah.
after that, you know, I've had four four international experiences, if you want to put it that way.
That way.
The
Yeah,
first one
cool.
was the CrossFit Games, and the second one was with Appaloosa
Oh,
back
yeah.
in
I
the
see.
States.
That's Miami, isn't it? Is that Miami?
Yeah, Miami. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It was this year, and after that, it was the CrossFit Games again this year,
yep,
and it was Colombia this year too. A few weeks back.
yeah. Awesome.
So it's been, yeah, you know, but this is the most impressive thing because right after the games from last year, I got invited to Woodapalooza. One of the guys that I met during the CrossFit Games, he was like, "Hey, we have some chances for the volunteer thing. If you want to be here taking pictures, you will be invited." I was like, "Yeah, I'm down."
Yeah.
So I did everything to go there. That was the second one, and then I applied to be to be a photographer here, and most of the athletes noticed me. You know,
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
like looking for some photographers, and I got hired by a company. So I get paid. So this is the
Oh,
most
that's it.
impressive thing that I get paid for going. The first time that I went last year, I was like on my own. And this time
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got paid. So this this is great, you know.
Yeah, that's
I'm
that's so
getting
good.
this goosebumps on my arms. Yeah,
Wow,
it was
mate.
amazing.
Congratulations.
And
That's awesome.
after, thanks, man. And after that, I went to Colombia and they invited me too. They were like, one of the guys from the head staff was like, "Man, we've seen like we saw you in Miami, so we saw you in Miami, so we want you here. So what do you think about coming?" I'm like, Yeah, I'm down. So they paid me, and they took me to there, and I was like, I couldn't believe that I did it. It's been like
That's
this
so
year has
good.
been crazy. Yeah.
I feel like like it sounds like this last year's really been a big year for you, like in your step towards like your goals, I guess in the photography scene. That's oh, congratulations, that's awesome. By the way,
Thank you.
when you first, I guess, when you know how you said you kind of met people and that sort of thing, was that kind of a part of your mindset going into, I guess, the first CrossFit Games you did? Or was it like I should try like not networking, like like chatting to as many people as you can, saying hi? Was that kind of a part of your thing, or was it just more like I'm focused solely on taking a good photo? How did you kind of go into that first experience?
Well,
What was your where was your mind at type thing, or you didn't really think
uh,
about it?
no, yeah, yeah. This is something very special because I was focused on learning about everything that I was looking at, right?
Okay,
I was
yeah,
paying attention to everything. I was paying attention to all the photographers. I was paying attention to all the staff people, all the staff members. I was paying attention to them, because I was like, I have to learn how to do this. I have to know like what is the difference of being here to being in a different event back in Mexico. So most
yeah.
of these guys were like, oh yeah, yeah, come on. So I made a very nice like community with the Brazilians. They are super good, and
Yeah.
I also like try to get along with them. And they were like, hey, come with us. Hey, come here. So they were like inviting me
Oh,
to
yeah.
pretty much everything, right? So I made some good friends there. So first of all, I think that I have to thank the people that were there, because they took me to the right place to have the best pictures, So
Yeah.
this was super different because most of the guys want to help. It's not like envious people that oh, come on, come on. No, no, no.
Yeah.
They want to help. They want to
Yeah.
help.
Well, I think and again, that's just probably the part of that CrossFit vibe. Everyone wants to help everyone. Even you see, I guess the athletes. Like someone's coming down the end, and all the athletes are out there cheering them and that sort of thing. And I feel like even just with anything, you need that help. That like, especially if you're starting from scratch, you can't if you're going in there by yourself. You need a few people just to kind of put you in the right direction, just to kind of get that little bit of I don't know, you're introduced into that kind of world. It'd be hard just if everyone was like, nah, mate, you're not coming with me. You know what I mean? You need that
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah,
help.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Um,
in this case, this year, I met some people from Australia, and they call themselves Bogans, right? Yeah.
Perfect.
I met the photographer of Cars Saunders. He's a very nice
Oh
guy,
yeah,
Benny
yeah,
Watson. That's his name. Yeah, Benny Watson. And he was like, "Hey, come here, mate." But he was like, "Hey, all mine, everywhere." All right. So he was there, and the crispy dudes, I guess. Crispy dudes are from Australia too, I guess. Crispy dudes.
Chris, are they
Would you say
photographers
is
as
that?
well?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
are some photographers from Australia, and they were like,
yeah.
"Oh,
Cool.
come here." But I felt like adopted by all this big family because I was the only Latin American guy in there, and they were like, they're all white. Most of them are white. They're like dark people and white, and I was like the only brown guy over there.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That's
there's
funny
another
as.
friend. Yeah, there's another friend. He's from Mexico, but he lives in the States for probably 6 years. So
Yeah.
he's
Okay.
like he's now a Mexican American,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Hey man, you're like the adopted guy, right?" Because they were like, "Hey, come!" They were all cheering me up about everything, right? It was
Yeah.
incredible.
No, that's awesome. So, what's kind of your plans, I guess, or any sort of goals you've got moving forward? What's on the horizon for 2023, 2024? Do you have any goals or plans? What's the plan?
Well, I have a huge plan. This could be my next move. I have two big goals. The
Yep.
first one is to get sponsored by Canon. I want to be the first CrossFit photographer in Mexico sponsored by Canon
Canon. Okay.
because
Yeah. Was
there's
Canon, is
there's no
that
one.
are they the biggest? Would they be the biggest camera brand? I think that the one we're filming on here is Canon. Yep. Yeah,
Yeah,
and,
yeah, there's the Canon. Yeah, there's Canon, but there are Sony, Nikon.
yeah,
There are a few different brands. But I want to get sponsored by Canon because I'm using Canon, and I'm
yeah,
and I'm very used to it, right?
yeah,
So
for sure.
that's my biggest goal, and I want to get noticed by them.
Yeah,
Because here in Mexico we have like different Canon ambassadors, and they use Canon, right? But they are from different sports. But for me, I really want to be a Canon ambassador in CrossFit because there's nobody else, like nobody else is sponsored by Canon, not even in the world. I think there's no
yeah,
other
okay, yeah,
sponsored by Canon. Probably there's one guy in the States, but not as a CrossFit photographer.
yeah, awesome. How good's that? And how do you think you're going to go about that? Oh, what's going on here? Looks like I need to get a
Oh
new
well,
the upgrade.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but how are you going to how do you feel like that, or how does that kind of fall in place? Do you think, have you heard from other people that have done similar things, or are you just kind of just going there and just trying your own things?
Well, first thing that I have to do is to get noticed by them, increase my follower fan base,
Of
because
course,
if
yeah,
I get bigger fans or followers, they will like
they'll be
notice
more
me, right?
likely. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And after that, I have to be like working harder. And not only here, I have to work overseas or
Yeah,
like internationally, right? And I think that I have some certain credentials that allow me to ask for something else, but I need more, right? I need more. So I'm always thinking about more, right? And I want to go to somewhere, I don't know, but I really want to go somewhere else to
yeah.
make it work.
Yeah, for sure. I guess it's just keep putting that foot in front of the other and keep doing different things and to get noticed and build your following, like things like podcasts and more photos and all that sort of thing. So I guess, when you're traveling and you plan to travel, are you with that? You know how you said you got picked up by that company? Are you with them moving forward, or is that just kind of like you're picked up for that event?
Well, it depends. Sometimes if you shoot for a company, they pay for all your things. But
Yeah.
sometimes if you shoot for an event, you have to do it on
Oh,
yourself,
yeah.
on your own.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it goes on your own.
Yeah.
So that's
And yeah, that's awesome. And then how did you, I guess, moving back to your kind of beginnings and that sort of thing, because that, like, it's, well, just going through what we've talked about, it's, like, obviously been a crazy, crazy ride for you, with everything that kind of happened. But what made you get into photography? What kind of pushed you in that direction? Were you always that interested in you, or did somehow you just kind of came across a camera and started to feel like, how did it kind of, yeah, how did you kind of get into where you are?
Well, it was first because my dad has a camera, right? He
Okay,
he
yeah,
has a
there you
small camera, and I was always, you always want to be like your dad.
go.
He was
Yeah,
like, he was a fitness guy. He was like huge, He was like all into muscle thing, and
yeah,
he was
yeah,
very into it on this bodybuilding stuff. So I was like, I want to be like my dad, Well, I haven't done that yet, but I will.
yeah.
But he was also a very huge fan of photography. So like, I want to be like him. And he was also a bike rider. So I was like, I want
Okay,
to be like
yeah,
him too,
yeah,
right? That's why
yeah,
Mauro Rider name came out, right?
yeah.
That's why. So this was my first, like my first thought about photography. Like, I want to be like him. He takes pictures. I want to be like him, and I want to get my own camera.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. And then did it just all of a sudden you were just like that's me. Like, I guess when you were playing around, were you like, I want to do this? This is like something I could, or did you even know at the time that photography, like, you could build a career out of it?
Well, most of the people say that left-handed people has this gifted or has this gift, in well, different to left to right-handed people because we have this mental thing, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. Bit of a different way of thinking, maybe.
Yeah, and that's why I think that could be an advantage for me, instead of just being a right-handed person and doing like thinking like the same way you all guys think, right? Probably that's one of my perks, but I'm not sure.
So there we have it. Episode 6 in the books. Great chat with Mauro there. Really, really insightful stuff about his journey into photography and everything that he's been doing in the CrossFit and CrossFit games. Part 2 will be coming out soon. Once again, we had a bit of a technical difficulties, but we'll get part 2 where we dive more into his career in the government and doing photography with that. So we'll get him back on. Hopefully we get everything sorted. But thanks for listening. Like and subscribe. See you later.